Okay, so today we're going to look at how to do a couple different things in the calculator, and we're going to call this lessons 3 and 4. We're going to do it together or 2 and 3, sorry. Lessons 2 and 3 together in one video. The bonus homeworks that go with these two videos are homework 2 and homework 3 in Math Excel. We're going to look at homework 2 first, and then we're going to switch gears and look at homework 3, okay? So first, we're going to look at solving and factoring quadratics with the TI-Nspire calculator. You should have done this back second trimester, okay? You did a lot of work with quadratics, so you should have done this. So this should be a really quick review for you. We can factor and solve quadratics a couple different ways in the calculator. You can graph them, so we'll start there. So we have x squared plus 8x plus 7. So x squared plus 8x plus 7. You can graph that. You can look for the intersections and go from there. So I'm just going to do graph trace, and I'm just going to go until I find an intersection. So we have -1 and -7. So this says factor. So when it says factor, you have to make sure you put your variable and the number in parentheses, and it's the opposite of what it looks like, because we get the solution by setting the factors equal to 0 and solving. So x plus 7 is a factor, and x plus 1 is a factor, okay? So we turned those intersections, or those solutions, into factors, okay? Let me see. Let me check that answer. There we go. All right, and so you've got a couple more. You can factor them, and you can do that by graphing. Now, let me skip just a little bit ahead. Okay, if it says solve the equation, so we can hit tab, we can type the equation in, and it's x squared minus 100. So if it says solve, we're just going to find those intersections. Now, if you look, this isn't really fitting on our graph, so we're going to change the window. We're going to do zoom fit. Let's see, that one didn't work for us. Let's try a different one. Let's do zoom out. Let's just zoom out. Okay, there we go. Now we can do menu, trace, graph trace, and you can just go over until you find your intersections. So we have -10. And let's go all the way over here. Well, so -10, and if you remember your factoring, you probably know it's going to be +10. So when it says solve, you're just putting in the two numbers, so -10 and +10. Okay, so that's how you can solve them by graphing. That's a perfectly acceptable option. If it works for you, go for it. Okay, I'm going to show you another option though. So we're going to go back to home on our calculators. And just like the last video, if you have your Nspire calculator, follow along with me, try these out, and then you can do the bonus homework in Math Excel for some bonus points. But if not, if you don't have your calculator, make sure you're watching and just remember this information, okay? So I'm going to go back to question number 2 because we're factoring. So I'm going to go to Calculate A. I'm going to go to Menu and Algebra again. Oh, click too early. Menu, Algebra, and Polynomial Tools. Okay, so we're just going to find the roots of the polynomial. If you look, the degree is the highest exponent, so our highest exponent is 2. We're looking for the real roots. Okay, and so we need A, B, and C. So here they're called A2, A1, and 0. Okay, but that's the same as our A, B, and C. If your polynomial or your quadratic is in order, it should be really easy to pick those out. So the first coefficient is 1. The second coefficient is 11, and then we have 28 as our constant. So you hit OK. It puts your problem in there, and you hit Enter. And so your two solutions are -7 and -4. So if we're turning those into factors, that would be x plus 7 and, oh, there we go, and x plus 4. Okay. Now we can do the same thing to solve. So let me go over here to one that asks us to solve. Okay, So I'm going to go back through these steps again. You hit Menu, Algebra, Polynomial Tools. Our degree is 2. We're looking for our real solutions. And our first coefficient is 1. Our second one is negative 11. And then our constant is 24. You hit enter, and we have 3, 8. So this one just wants the solution, so we're just going to do 3, 8. And there you go. So that's how you can solve and factor quadratics in the calculator. You can use the graphing tool on your calculator, or you can use the poly tools. And both are very effective. Okay, now we're moving on to the homework 3 or the lesson 3 portion of the video. We're solving polynomials with the TI-Nspire, and you're going to do the same thing as we did with the quadratics. You can graph them and try to find the real roots, but that's not as helpful to find the non-real roots. So I've picked out, I'm on problem number 8 of the practice or the bonus homework, and so we'll go to Menu, Algebra. I did it again, I clicked too quickly. So Menu, Algebra, Polynomial Tools, and if you look, this says find the real solutions of the equation. So we're going to do, you can do real roots, complex roots, or just find roots. So our degree is 3, that's the highest exponent, okay? And we can say, we can look for the real solutions because it says real solutions. So we need the coefficient. So we have a 1, we have a negative 3, we have a negative 10. Now, our constant is on the wrong side, so we have to move this 24 to the other side, so that'll be positive 24. And you hit enter. And so your real solutions are negative 3, 2, and 4. Okay, and so that's all you do. Okay, here's another one. So I'll go to Menu, Algebra, Polynomial Tools. And if you notice, this one says find the real or imaginary solutions of the equation. So I'm going to go to complex roots because I need to take care of, I'm not sure what I was just saying, so sorry. I'm losing my mind today. So we're going to choose, we're not going to just look for the real because we have to take care of the imaginary solution. So sometimes we have real solutions to polynomials, sometimes we have imaginary solutions. So actually, let me change that. Let me do it this way. So because this will be easier for you. Go to polynomials, we'll just do find the roots. Okay, our highest exponent is 4, so I'm going to change our degree to 4. Now, instead of looking for the real, we're going to look for the complex roots. So complex will take care of our real and imaginary solutions, and that way you can click the same thing every time. Okay, so look at our coefficient. So in front of x to the 4th, we have 1. We do not have an x to the 3rd, so we say 0. X squared, we have a negative 50 in front. In front of x, we don't have an x, so just a 0. And then our constant is negative 49, but we have to move it over, which would make it a positive 49. We hit enter, and so it gives us our solutions, negative 7, negative 1, 1, and 7. And there you go. There's your answer. Okay, now we're going to do one last example here. So you notice this is a multiple choice. We have r cubed minus 216 equals 0, and then we have some different answers here. We have some real numbers and some complex numbers. So let's find the roots there, the solutions. So go to Algebra, Polynomial Tools, and again, we're going to choose that first option, just find the roots. Don't worry about choosing the others, just do find the roots. Our degree is 3, and this time we have to find real or imaginary, so let's do complex, and that will take care of both. So r to the 3rd, the coefficient is 1. We do not have an r squared. We do not have an r. Our constant is negative 216. And you hit enter, and this is what you're given. So I know that this is a lot, but I want you to pick out some important things. Here we have a negative 3 minus a decimal I, negative 3 plus a decimal I, and 6. Okay, so that can help us pick the correct answer here. So we have a real 6, and there's only one option that has a real 6, and that's A. Okay, it also has -3 minus a decimal I, so -3 minus the decimal and I, and then -3 plus the decimal and I. And what you could do if you weren't sure about this, if it wasn't as easy to pick out the correct answer, you could type these imaginary or these complex numbers in the calculator without the I and see what the decimal is, and that can help you narrow out your options as well. But if you're not sure, if you don't know how to find the roots of the polynomials, this is an excellent tool. And even if your questions are multiple choice, with the decimals and the radicals and the I, it should still help you narrow out your options to find the correct answer, or at least narrow them down to make it easier to find the correct answer. Okay, so again, this homework in Math Excel is a bonus homework. You can do it, practice these skills. I'll give you bonus points in Math Excel. If you don't want to, that's fine, but just make sure you know how to use the polynomial tools in your calculator for the ACT next Tuesday. If you have questions or need any help, please let me know. I'll be happy to assist you. Have a great day.